We're crossing too many lines, and you have to ask, how long can this keep going? We have seen the signs, and I gave you 16 signs. The book of Revelation, throughout the entire book of all this out-of-control stuff, looks out of control. You see God on the throne. You're listening to the Jonathan Cahn podcast, taking you into the deep mysteries of God, new and special messages, prophetic words, and revelations of the end times and our time. Remember to hit subscribe to make sure you don't miss any of these special messages. We're opening up the most mysterious book of the Bible, the one that has puzzled more people than any other book, the book of Revelation. Many generations of believers have wondered if they were going to see what it was speaking about. We're going to focus solely on what the book of Revelation says about the end times, not the rest of the Bible, except I may reference something occasionally. But the focus is what is in the book of Revelation. Can we see signs of where we are? The first sign, I'm calling it the sign of numbers. First, one would think that the events would take place before the greatest stage. At the time of the Bible, the population of the entire world is estimated to be around 188 million people. Today, the nation of China alone has several times that number. The world's population reached 1 billion in the year 1803. Today, the population of Earth is 8 billion. Never have so many people been alive to witness the events that the Bible speaks about of Revelation. I saw a great multitude that no one could number. In Revelation 9:16, it speaks of an invading army. It says the army had 200 million soldiers. 200 million. That's more than the entire population of the world when Revelation was written. Never before could there be an army realistically raised on earth of 200 million people, only in our day. Not possible. And I'm going to touch more on that as we go ahead. Second sign, the sign of fire. Revelation 8:7, the first angel blew his trumpet. There followed hail and fire mixed with blood, and these were thrown upon the earth, and a third of the earth was burned, a third of the trees and grass burned up with fire. In 2 Peter, reference now, it says, but they deliberately forgot that long ago by God's word the heavens came into being, the earth was formed out of water and by water. By these waters also the world of that time was destroyed and flooded. But the same world, the present heavens and earth are reserved for fire, being kept for the day of judgment. The world will be destroyed by fire. Now this could speak of the very end of the old creation. Revelation speaks of a destruction that has never been seen on the earth. And it's in our day that for the first time in the history of the world, we actually have the ability to destroy the planet. Revelation speaks of the stars falling to the earth. Does that mean actual stars? Well, to John, anything lights in the night in the heavens would be stars. They come down. They could be meteors. They could be shooting stars. It's possible they could be missiles, light coming down from the sky. It would describe it after you were describing it back then. And the same chapter says the third angel sounded his trumpet. A great star, blazing like a torch, fell from the sky, and a third of the rivers on the springs of water, the name of the star is Wormwood. The most dramatic event we have ever seen concerning nuclear poisoning was that of the Russian nuclear reactor called Chernobyl. It was in Chernobyl. The place is called in Russia Chernobyl. It poisoned everything, left everything uninhabitable. The Russian word for that place, the name of the place, Chernobyl, means wormwood. In the center of the town of Chernobyl is a wormwood star memorial, and you know what it shows? An angel blowing a trumpet. It's from the prophecy of Revelation 8. Third sign, Israel. The book of Revelation is interesting concerning this. It doesn't outright say the nation of Israel will be a nation in the last days or gather back, but it's clearly showing you that it is. In Revelation 7, it says, then I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 from all the tribes of Israel. From Judah, 12,000. From Reuben, 12,000. Gad, Asher, Naphtali, and On. 144,000 are numbered from the nation of Israel. 12,000 from every tribe can only be the children of Israel. And notice the 10 lost tribes are in there too. Further, in Revelation 11, it speaks of the two witnesses being killed. It says their bodies will lie in the public square of the great city, which is figuratively called Sodom and Egypt, where also their Lord was crucified. Where was the Lord crucified? Jerusalem. Jerusalem is at the center. It is inhabited. It's a living city in Revelation. It's a living city. Has been a backwater place for 2,000 years, only when the Jewish people came back. And the 144,000 are linked to Mount Zion, which is in the city of Jerusalem. Revelation also speaks of an image of the beast. Paul said the Antichrist, the man of perdition, the beast, will declare himself God in the holy place. There's only one place a Jewish person would call the holy place. That is the temple or the Temple Mount. That's Jerusalem again. So remember, Messiah said the Jewish people will be taken captive to all nations. So for the Jewish people to be in Israel and Jerusalem, at the end, in Revelation, they have to be gathered back to the land. And Revelation is aligned with it, that Israel must be back in the land. And so it is. We are the generation that has seen what Christians for ages long to see, that Israel would be resurrected into the world. Fourth sign. Linked to that one, the sign of Armageddon. Revelation 16 says, then they gathered the kings together to the place in Hebrew that is called Armageddon. The nations of the world will be gathered to fight in the place that is called Armageddon in Hebrew. Armageddon is in Israel. Lines up with biblical prophecy. It says in Zechariah 12, the nations of the world will come against Israel and try to move Jerusalem over the issue of Jerusalem. And what it requires is that a world will exist at the end that against all odds will be focused, obsessed with a tiny little New Jersey-sized nation called Israel. And it's filled with a demonic rage against it. The enemy is going to take that and demonically intensify it. It says there will be spirits that come out of him that go to the world, will result in Armageddon. Fifth sign, linked to the third and fourth sign, the sign of the mount. In Revelation 11, it says, I was given a reed like a measuring rod and told, go and measure the temple of God and the altar with its worshipers, but exclude the outer court. Do not measure it, because it's been given to the Gentiles. They will trample the holy city for 42 months, the sign of the temple. For 2,000 years, the Temple Mount has had nothing to do with the Jewish people. They were separated across the world. But now the Temple Mount is an issue for Israel and the world. It'll take a gigantic event for them to build the temple, but they're going to build the temple. Next sign, the sixth sign, the sign of instantaneousness. What on earth is that? Revelation 11, listen closely. The two witnesses speak, and then they're killed. And then this happens. The inhabitants of the earth will gloat over them and will celebrate by sending each other gifts, because these two prophets had tormented them there. Now, aside from the world giving gifts to celebrate the death of two prophets, something else is striking about this verse. Revelation 13 about the beast. One of the heads of the beast seemed to have a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed, and the whole world was filled with wonder and followed the beast. One more. Verse 14, it says, because of the signs it was given, this is about the false prophet, to perform on behalf of the first beast, it deceived the inhabitants of the earth. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast, who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. What is striking about this? The two witnesses are struck down, the whole world celebrates. The beast, the Antichrist, gets a head wound, seems to be fatal, but he lives and the world reacts in awe. The false prophet performs signs that deceive the whole world, including an image that appears to come to life. What is striking? Each one involves an event that the entire world witnesses in a short time or an instant. This could never happen until the 20th century and even the 21st century. Only with the advent of mass communication, television, satellites, you need satellites for this, and even more so, the World Wide Web, that we're all connected, that one event could happen in a second, we could see it across the world. Only now can the world witness an event in real time. The events of Revelation 11 and 14 could never happen before this day. The first generation is now. Seventh sign, the Antichrist civilization. In Revelation, the world celebrates the death of the two witnesses. They follow the beast, the Antichrist. They war against God, against the Lamb, Messiah, against the people of God. Now, for almost 2,000 years, Western civilization was Christian or resting on a Judeo-Christian foundation. But that's not the world you see in Revelation. What you see is a world given to evil, godlessness, anti-God, anti-Christian spirit. That requires something, which is spoken of elsewhere in the Bible, a great apostasy, a great falling away, turning away from God, from the Christian faith, from the Bible, from Messiah. In the 20th and 21st century has seen the greatest falling away. It is the most massive de-Christianization the world has ever seen. Now, if the Christ leads to a Christian civilization, what does an anti-Christian civilization lead to? The Antichrist. A sign linked to that, the sign of persecution. Revelation 13 says the beast was given power to make war against the saints. Revelation 16, they have shed the blood of your saints and prophets. Revelation 17, I saw the woman. She was drunk with the blood of the saints, the blood of the martyrs of Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus. When I saw her, I marveled greatly. I saw the woman was drunk with the blood of God's holy people, the blood of those who bore their testimony to Jesus. The book of Revelation reveals that in the last days, the people of God will be persecuted, even killed. Ninth sign, the Euphrates. Revelation 16, the sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates. And the water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings of the east. According to the book of Revelation, the great Euphrates has to dry up. Interesting, because one of the news stories in recent times, you know what it is? The Euphrates River is starting to dry up. Could that be part of what is described here? You decide, but it has never been before. It's only happening now. 10th sign, one world. Revelation 13, he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, except he had the mark, or the name of the beast, the number of his name. There's no way man could ever cause all the people of the world to receive a mark. The only way it could be possible if there's a one world state. That one world state would also have to have the power of modern technology. The book of Revelation, you got a beast with 10 horns. An 11th one rises up. This is the 11th sign as well. The book of Revelation is connected to the book of Daniel. It foretells the rise of a one world state, a one world government linked to the Roman Empire. A resurrected Roman state in some way. The Roman Empire embraced the Mediterranean and Western Europe. So it's interesting that Europe has begun coming together to form a supranational entity beyond nations, transcending nations. It's saying it's a model for nations to come together and give their sovereignty to an overruling government. It is called the European Union. Do you know when it was born? 1948, the very same year Israel was born. 12th sign, the kings of the east. It says that the sixth angel had the trumpet, released the four angels who are bound at the river Euphrates. And the four angels have been kept ready for the hour and the month and the year were released to kill a third of mankind. The number of the troops was twice 10,000 times 10,000. I heard their number. Now, there has never been a power that could boast an army of 200 million people until now. Happens to be one power that boasts of being able to raise an army of exactly that, 200 million people, happens to be in the East. It is a dangerous nation, a rising nation with aspirations of global dominion that may want to start a war with America. Its name is, of course, China. This has never been, it is only now. 13th sign, the magic arts. Revelation 18:23 says of the fall of Babylon, by your magic spell all the nations were led astray. Revelation 9:20 says they didn't stop worshiping demons, nor did they repent of their murders, their magic arts. Revelation is saying that in that day there will be people worshiping demons. What is that? Paganism. Will they know they're worshiping demons? Maybe not, but they will be doing it. We will witness not only the turning away from Christianity, but a turning to paganism and worshiping without even knowing it, what the Hebrew calls the shedim, what the Greek calls the daimonia, the gods or the demons. It's no accident that we are witnessing a massive revival of the occult and paganism. When people fall away from God, they seek other spiritualities. The picture of Revelation is one of increasing demonic activity. So we'd expect to see desecration, abominations, irrationality, the war on God and his people, and we're seeing it. It's not natural what you saw. It is desecration. That's demonic. 14th, as we bring it home, shadows of the beast. Another sign in the 20th century, we've had more overt shadows of the beast. In other words, evil men ruling over totalitarian states as the Antichrist will, most of whom hated Israel or the Jewish people, most of whom hated Christians and persecuted them, and most of whom had the blood of millions on their hands. It tells you you're near. 15th sign, second to last, is the sign of the harlot. Revelation 17. Then he carried me away in the spirit. In the wilderness I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast who was filled with blasphemous names, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, having in her hand a golden cup, full of abomination and the filth of her sexual immorality. On her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth, mother of harlots. But the very fact that the image chosen to represent end-time culture is described as a prostitute, speaking of sexual immorality. The breaking of boundaries, the breaking of the bonds of marriage is what it means. After that, the breaking of the bonds of gender itself. Notice the link between here, sexual immorality, spiritual adultery, and the occult is all together. And the last sign, I'll call it the Omega signs. And that is, even if we knew nothing else, even if we didn't know the Bible, we'd have to be aware that we are crossing lines that have never been crossed. We have the ability to create a virus that could wipe out the entire earth. And after years of denying it, the powers that be are now admitting that the virus, the COVID coronavirus that killed millions, may have very well been created in a laboratory in China. We're altering the definition of humanness, man, woman, male, female, boy, girl. We are going where no civilization has ever gone before. We're altering the definition of man. We're crossing too many lines. And you have to ask, how long can this keep going? We have seen the signs. And I gave you 16 signs. On top of it all, what we are now witnessing, the book of Revelation, throughout the entire book of all this out-of-control stuff, looks out of control. You see God on the throne. He chose you to live in these days. He chose you to live now. So these days are appointed, and you're appointed. And if God has appointed you for this time, He's also appointed you for your situation and every problem and everything you deal with. So don't fear. You are to be anointed. You are here for a reason. Empowered. Prevail. What does it say in Revelation 12, the prophecy of the dragon? It says, but they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, the word of their testimony, and loving not their lives to death. They overcame. God has called you to overcome. If you follow God, you are appointed to victory. And remember, the end of the battle is peace and blessing and joy. Because if these are the days that lead to revelation, we know the days of revelation leads to the kingdom of God. When God is with you, you are guaranteed the victory. The end of the story is beyond your wildest dreams. Keep going, keep fighting, keep standing, keep running, keep going. It can't get any better than where it's going.
I hope you were blessed with the message. To get more of my teachings and messages, to receive free gifts, or to get in touch, just go to hopeoftheworld.org. That's hopeoftheworld.org. Hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And take a moment to rate the podcast. Your ratings will help others discover these teachings. And lastly, there's much more content on my YouTube channel. Just search for Jonathan Cahn Official on YouTube. Until next time, may God bless you. Shalom.